My goodness, on a fantastic Thursday morning slash afternoon. It's the Teddy Bear, and welcome to Night Tracks. And today's artist spotlight, talented singer, gifted actress, and let me take it a step further. She had me because you're my weakness and my favorite delight. Lord have mercy. From her 1974 album, Pain and Pleasure, she is here, the incredibly talented Miss Freda Payne. My queen, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thank you. How are you doing?
I am doing wonderful. You are one of the first, as far as artists, female vocalists that I actually fell head over heels with. That 1974 album just took my breath away. I love that album. You did an incredible job. And first and foremost, I want to congratulate you because number one, you received the Lifetime Achievement Award, long overdue. You did an exceptional job portraying Ella Fitzgerald. You completely embodied who she was. You won an award for that. So 2023 has been fantastic. And I wanted to ask you, how do you feel as far as the overall love that you've been receiving?
Well, first of all, you mentioned the Ella Fitzgerald and the Adulco Award that I won for Best Leading Actress in a Musical. Did you actually see the show?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Oh, where was it?
Oh my God, now you date me now. Let me think. Let me
No,
think.
I've done it
I'm
four
get,
times. I did it. The first time was 2004, um, Crossroads, New
the
Brunswick, New
Crossroads
Jersey.
Theater.
Yeah, Crossroads in New Brunswick, but that was 2004, a long time ago. And then again, I
That's not
did
too
it.
long ago.
Well, and then I did it again in 2014, Alexandria, Virginia, Metro Stage. And then I did it in 2018, Wilmington, Delaware, at the Delaware Theater. And then I just did it last year. That's the one I won the when I finally got the award, and that was in Rockville Center, New York. That's Long Island, and it was at the
Well,
Madison
I'm
Theater,
well,
and that
I'm
was
going all
just
the way back to
last year,
2000.
August and September. Yeah.
Well, I'm going all the way back to 2004. So I'm really dating myself. That's why I say
Oh,
long
you
overdue.
really you saw the very beginning. Well, that was, and you
And
know
I'm
what? Every time we did it, well, back then, I played Ella, young Ella, and mature Ella, and then after that, the screenwriter, and Maurice Hines, the director, they put in a younger person to play young Ella. So they
it's
demoted
so
me.
many. I know, and that was wrong of them. That was very wrong of them. You look even more captivating than ever, and your voice is even more beautiful and elegant. You really did an exceptional job with Jeff Goldblum on Jimmy Kimmel Live playing Lazy Afternoon. That was phenomenal. I said, "Oh my god!"
I was so proud of that because when they told me that Jeff was going to be doing the Jimmy Kimmel show with his band, the Mildred Snitzer Orchestra, and he said, and then they said they were going to be doing Lazy Afternoon, which is the one I recorded on his album. And I said, "Are you
Right.
going to be doing it with me or, somebody else?" He said, "Oh, no, with you." So I was like, "Oh, wow, that's cool."
Well, you blew everyone away. You did an exceptional job. And I wanted to ask you, you've been in this industry for a very long time. When you started, there were a handful of record labels. Then we blossomed to a lot of record labels. Now we have very few, but a lot of independent labels. For you, how
Mhm.
have you been able to somewhat navigate through an ever changing music industry?
Well, honey, I got to tell you, it's hook or crook. In other words, you got to find, like they say, the little mouse that had more than, you got to have more than one hole to run into. You've got to be able,
Right.
first of all, if you can't get a deal with a regular quote unquote record label, sometimes you have to create your own label. You have to establish
Yeah.
your own independent label. And that's when you have all the control. And then, of course, you're the one that's got to come up with all the financing as well. And that's the difference. It's harder now today. I've been lucky because the last album I did was called "Let There Be Love," where I did 4 duets. It was an EP. I did a duet with Johnny Mathis, Kenny Lattimore, Dee Dee Bridgewater, and Kurt Elling. And then I did a song
Wow.
all by myself. I did a song solo as well. And that came out, that was wonderful. That got a lot of exposure. But a private party had to finance that. And they became the executive producer. And that was Michael Getz. But the producer, the guy that brought it all together, who got the other artists, like the duet artists, to come in, who got who got the studio and all that kind of stuff. Well, it was Capital. Anybody if you can get Capital, unless as long as you got the money to pay for the studio. And his name is Rod. So in other words, the producer is Rodrigo Rios, Brazilian. He's Brazilian.
Okay.
He's Italian Brazilian. His mother and his parents were both Brazilian and all that. But anyway, he came to this country to do a few gigs and hang out. And a guy named Greg Gifford became sort of like his godfather, his mentor. And and so Rodrigo would sometimes come to my shows when I was doing the Ella tribute, and he was so fascinated, and he said, "I want to do a whole album on you." And then it moved from doing an Ella thing to doing these duets, and that's what happened. So that came out in 2021, that CD, that EP. And then after that, I'm with some folks. I'm with Michael Sutton. His label is The Sound of LA. And
Okay.
I did a couple of singles with him. Um, Just to Be With You. And wait, hold on.
Oh, no problem, my Green. We're on your
Yeah,
time.
I'm on the air.
Okay, girl. Okay, good.
Bye.
You figured it out. Okay, bye.
So anyway, um, we did Just to Be With You. That was an original. And then I did a song that's been done before. As a matter of fact, I recorded that song before, back in the early, like 2002 or three, and it never really got released on a label. So the album was called On the Inside, and that was produced by Preston Glass. So this time I
I'm familiar
always
with him.
Preston Glass. I mean, God, he's
Yeah.
produced and written for Whitney Houston, Phyllis Hyman, all the Aretha Franklin. He's a veteran record producer, well known. So anyway, I had a personal relationship with the song. I was the first person to ever record it, but it was recorded as a demo, and I was supposed to get a deal with this song, and it didn't happen. And it just so happened that Nancy Wilson, who was signed to Columbia, she recorded it, and Sammy, of course, went along with it and worked with her on that. But I actually was the first person to do the song, so I always loved this song. And Sammy's no longer with us. He was a dear friend, and I always felt that I wanted to do it again. For some reason, something kept pushing me to do it again. It's called "Do You Still Dream About Me?" And
Yes.
yeah, and that's the version that I did with Michael Sutton, and he put a different reading on it. It was, like I'm talking in the intro and all that. I think it's much sexier than the other version that I did. Yeah.
Well, you did an incredible job on it, and I mean, as far as the charts are concerned, it's been getting a lot of love, a lot of love, a lot of adulations, and that's wonderful. You know, one of the things that I find very interesting in today's industry, I've had the pleasure to converse with a lot of super talented artists like yourself, and they say one of the most difficult things that they've had to deal with is that when you're on a major label at one particular time in your career, everything was done for you. And then when you become an
Yes,
independent artist, all the responsibility is on you financially,
that's right.
promotionally. How have you been how long did it take you to get accustomed as far as to dealing with social media?
Well, I actually hired somebody to deal with the social media because,
Right,
hey, listen, I'm old school.
right,
I am old school. Now, some people say, well, why don't you just take some lessons, take some courses in computer or media services and so that you can do it yourself. And I can still do that, but the lady that handles it for me, her name is Anissa Sutton,
okay.
and she is actually married to Michael Sutton, the
Oh,
producer.
okay,
And
okay.
so
We keep it up.
she does such a wonderful job. She does a lot of artwork and put stuff together. There's some people with that talent to do that, and she does a wonderful job, Lisa Sutton. So
Absolutely.
who knows? But you're right. What happens is that if you're not financially secure, then when you have to do it yourself, you're going to need a little help. You're going to have to get a GoFundMe page or something like that. And so a lot of that works for a lot of people. That works.
Right,
I'm about getting ready to do that myself because it's like, when you have to pay for everything see, every time I've been with a label, and this has been my life, my experience. Every time I'm signed to a label, they do the promotion. They pay for the recording studio. They pay the musicians. They pay the producer. um when it comes to promotion, they pay for that, you know
right,
so that means that the artist has to put out. And the thing is that now, the money that you make now, like how much money comes back. uh Back in the old days when people was buying vinyl, and then CDs, and there was more money was being made. That's why the record companies thrived,
right.
from record sales. There are no more records, you know
Yeah,
and because of technology and the internet, where you can download stuff. You can go and get to Spotify, Pandora, Deezer, all these different formats. And now you don't have to run. Remember, in the old days, you had to go to the record store and get the record, or the CD or the cassette or whatever was going on at the time. And that was it.
right.
Nowadays, and then you make a fraction of what you normally would have made, even if your record is a hit.
It's
They still make
unfortunate,
money. So you make
what
you earn your money basically on your personal appearances, like nightclubs, theaters, concerts, and stuff like that.
how long did it take you to really truly understand the business aspect of the music industry? Because you got into this industry at a very tender, younger age,
Yes,
and
I did.
a lot of, and a lot of artists don't really understand during that time the business aspect. As you said, the label is doing everything for you. You're in this
Mhm.
recording studio, not knowing that the budget that they're providing you, that's money that has to be recouped by the label,
Right.
and you don't know that at the time. How long did it take you to really truly understand and figure that out?
Well, it wasn't until it was the 70s, and that's when I sued my record label, Invictus Records, which was run by Holland Dozier and Holland. And
Okay.
that was in the early 70s because I had just come off having won a gold record for the single "A Band of Gold," and
Okay.
and then um, and then a year later, then they put out other songs like "Deeper and Deeper" and "You Brought the Joy," and then after a year later, they put out "Bring the Boys Home," which became another gold record. It was huge. "Bring the Boys Home" here in the States, and after when that came out, I started asking about royalties. I said, "When am I going to get a check, a check or something for Band of Gold?" And if it was explained to me that they spent so much money in promotion that there were no royalties to give me. So I said, it's in my book. I said, "Well, if there's no royalties to give me, and you guys never gave me an advance in the first place, like normal, which I should have asked for when I
Right.
and um, and say these are your royalties, you better give me something."
My
I
good.
went gangster. I said, "You better give me something." And then I just got angry because I felt like I was being disrespected and
Right.
undermined. I was very hurt. So I just
Right.
said, "Okay." Did you hear
I
me?
mean, I understand. Yeah, I heard you. I heard you. It's it's unfortunate because you have a lot of great artists like yourself who've experienced the same thing. You go out there and you make a multitude of money for the label, then all of a sudden, wait a minute, where is my residual check? I'm out here touring, I'm traveling the world, and I'm not seeing anything. It's like you're putting me out there. I'm dressing up, making up, putting all this makeup on me. I'm performing, and I'm not reaping the benefits of my
Right.
hard work. That's why I said today, for me, from a personal standpoint, I think it's a beautiful thing like yourself to be an independent artist because now you have complete creative control of
Yes.
your artistry. They can't put you in a box and say, well, wait a minute, I know where this money's going now. The money's coming directly to me with personal appearances, performances. But I must admit, there's a part of me that I really miss the days where you were actually able to go to a record store
I miss
and
it
have a meet
too.
and greet.
Yeah, I miss it too. There was something kind of romantic about it. You go and look at the different categories and shop around and see what's the newly released, what's new, and then also record stores, certain ones they would still have a backlog of products that were like the records that were like 20 years ago or 30 years, that kind of thing.
Yes, yes.
There's a record store. There's still a remaining record store here in Los Angeles. It's called Amoeba, and
Okay.
and they not only have like current material that's probably been released or whatever, but you can go there and buy CDs or I don't know if they have vinyls, but they probably do because vinyls are new now. They've made a comeback, but you can buy CDs there from as far back as the 70s and even the 60s, artists from the 60s.
Yes.
Yeah. And I love that,
I see.
because it's like I can go and people say, I have a neighbor, I've had people tell me, I'll say, I'm going to give you my latest CD. They said, "We don't have a CD player anymore. Everything is downloaded in the
Yes,
house."
that's weird.
I
Yeah.
said, "You mean you don't have a CD player in your house? Didn't you save any of your CD players or something? Store them away?" They said, "No, we."
Got rid of them. But that goes back to what you said earlier as far as technology. Technology moves so fast. I mean, we went from vinyl, we had cassettes to compact discs. and now everything you can just download it from the
Right.
you download it from the computer. You've
Yeah.
always been very outspoken. And I said, when I had the opportunity to have you on the show, I said, I definitely have to ask you this question. Do you feel here in the States that a lot of people, as far as music lovers, have become somewhat spoiled? And the reason why I'm asking that is because when you go to the United Kingdom or travel outside the United States, it is a love affair with R&B music. Artists are celebrated, and I feel like you're not getting that same type of love or adulation here in the state that you would get outside of the United States. What do you feel about that? What your thought on that?
Well, you're right. You hit on that because over there, like especially in the UK and probably in France as well, but in the UK, they don't throw you away like or forget about you. Oh, you're from the 70s or the 80s or the 60s or whatever. Uh, they still celebrate and they still love the artists, the older artists, like myself and
Right.
that have been around uh, but at the same time, whereas here, we're basic. What I see is it's like, who's the new girl on the block? Who's the latest, got the latest hit record out?
Right.
Who's doing this? You know what I mean?
What's the
It's all these
flavor of the
people. I
month?
don't even know you hear these names. You don't even know who they are. And they have these weird names and you don't know who they are. Sometimes you hear artists that are uh, that are out, and I don't even think they have any talent. They just
Yeah.
they have somebody produced it for some reason, and they're getting some play on the internet or whatever, and they've caught on, and I don't even get it. I can't fathom it. I'm still into good music. I'm still into the music of the 60s, the 70s, the 80s.
I understand.
That
I
was
mean,
the best time for creativity and good music, I think.
and people could actually sing and actually pick up an instrument and play. That's a
Uh-huh.
huge.
Uh-huh.
That's a
Now
huge.
we do have some great singers today. You have Jennifer, like the Jennifer Hudsons, the Kelly
Right.
Clarkson. You have some great singers. I mean, there's some good. Uh, Ariana Grande. You have some kids, young women who have great voices. But then I'm talking about the ones every now and then, uh, on the Grammys or American Music Awards or even Saturday Night Live when they have their like a talent. Like sometimes they'll have a really good one,
Right.
a good performer, um, like Harry Styles. I think he's good. I think he can sing.
Okay.
Then they'll have somebody. Of course, I don't even remember the names or don't care to. But you say, well, what are they? What? I mean, I literally have to change the channel until they finish,
Right.
and then I go back.
Oh my
I
goodness.
love Saturday Night Live.
Well, I'm dating myself a little bit, and I'm okay with that. I remember seeing great artists perform on the Midnight Special.
Oh yeah,
That was
I remember Midnight Special.
see, that was my era of music. It was a beautiful thing to sit up here and say, you know what, I done worked, I've did my chores, I've earned some money so I can go to the record store and buy this particular album, look at the cover art, the liner notes, and it was just an excitement about that. Now you go to the UK or Japan or Australia, they have that same type of feeling because they still sell vinyl. They still have record stores out there. I wanted to ask you, now you wrote a book, you have your memoir that is available as we speak right now, family, on
Right.
Amazon. It's
Band
available.
of Gold,
Yes, Lord.
a memoir by Freda Payne and Mark Vigo.
Oh my goodness. I wanted to ask, have you thought about possibly bringing that to TV? And if you did, who would be the ideal female artist
Well,
that could
as
portray
we
you?
speak,
Uh
that
oh.
they're two different entities that are working on something towards that in that direction.
Okay. Okay. Okay, all right. Happy first to hear it.
Yeah. And
And
a
can you?
name was mentioned for one of a movie about me, and I can't mention who they mentioned because I don't even know if they can even get her. But
Okay, okay.
it's a
Well,
well known
who?
actress.
Well, for you, if you, your choice, who would be the ideal female artist to portray you in a biopic? Who would you like to see? If you your choice, who would you like to see that could really pull it off?
Oh my God. You know what? I can't say. I can't say. I don't know. Okay, I'll put it this way.
Okay,
If somebody did a biopic on Beyonce and they had to use another actress, right? Who I wonder
right.
who would be able to do that in your mind.
In my mind,
Yeah, in your
wow.
mind.
Well, I have my druthers because I think you were Beyonce before Beyonce. So, but
You
that's
know, I've
just
heard that.
that's just me.
I've heard that.
That's,
People have said, "Oh, you were back in the day, you were the Beyonce of the 70s or whatever."
it's the
And I said,
truth.
"Okay, I'll take that."
It's the truth. The look, the elegance, your vocals were just on a completely different level. And one of the things that really I'm so impressed about is that your vocals have not diminished at all. And I know a lot of artists over the years, they really don't take care of their voice, and you have. How have you managed to take care of your vocals?
Well, I have a little help because um I don't, first of all, I don't abuse my voice. I don't use,
Right,
drugs or anything like that. Um, I do like my wine and
right,
champagne, but very limited, because I can't drink like I used to. But
right.
uh, my niece, that's my sister's daughter. Her name is Shoshana Payne Phillips. My niece has a vocal coach studio. It's called Lavoie Studios, located in Studio City here in LA,
Oh,
Studio
okay,
City.
okay,
And she coaches students and people that are, wanting to brush up on their vocals. Matter of fact, I have to mention my friend Thelma Houston had a few sessions with her. And so
really,
so
okay,
yeah, and then me and my sister and I will go, and when in between Shoshana's classes, her students will go and bone up, and Shoshana, give us some vocalises, and that helps a
vocalises.
lot. Yeah, so Shoshana, and she knows her stuff. She knows her business. She's an excellent vocal coach.
Okay, okay. Well,
As a
you're
matter of fact,
okay,
Shoshana, this coming Sunday, April the 23rd, here in LA, in Bel Air, she's doing her gala yearly event. Let's Lavoie Studios Gala yearly event at the American Jewish University. They have a wonderful
okay,
auditorium there in Bel Air, and she's presenting her gala. I'm going to perform. It's a tribute to the Supremes because Sherry was a Supreme at one,
okay, okay.
and and they're honoring and she's honoring Sherry as well. I've been honored in the past, and I'm performing, and Louis Price of the Temptations, he is going to be performing as well. He's going to be doing a duet with me, and we got some other folks are going to come in and perform, and it's going to showcase her students as well as a gourmet dinner will be served, and
Okay.
cocktails, gourmet dinner, red carpet, step and go. It's going to be a real nice affair this coming Sunday.
It
So,
sounds elegant.
so go to
Sounds
they can either go to um, Lavoie Studios, um, go online and they can check it out. Or maybe I think my website might have it listed because my website is now I am Freda Payne, www.iamfredapayne.com.
okay.
Yeah.
And it's the same handle, family, for Facebook and also for Instagram. You know, going through the 70s and also in 80s, it was in 60s was a very excessive period where you could get your hands on pretty much anything and everything. Where you had a lot of hangers on or a lot of hangers oners. Yes, people. How were you man? How did you manage to? I use the term survive and get through that.
Are you referring, you said a specific time?
Yeah, between I would say between the 60s and 70s, where drugs were really prevalent,
Okay.
and
I get
you managed to get out of that situation just unscathed, where you had a lot of other artists who just did not
They
make it out.
didn't
And the
get
reason why
out.
I'm asking that, and I'm reason why I'm asking it is because I look at someone as talented as Whitney Houston, and,
Oh,
and to see her deteriorate using just getting caught up in that kind of life, it really saddens me. And I'm so happy that we have you here because you've seen it all and you've lived it
I,
all.
I have. I have. And I can't, and you're right. I'm gonna tell you, and I didn't escape totally. I mean, it wasn't like I was a goody two shoes. And those people said, I never smoked a marijuana cigarette in my life. I don't care. I never did that. I never did cocaine. I said, well, guess what? In my 20s, I did smoke marijuana. I did do cocaine. Okay. I even did LSD. I did. It was fun. I thought it was just fun. Of course, I'll
Right.
never ever do it again now. Oh no, never. As a matter of fact, I stopped smoking marijuana, back in the 70s, and I stopped when I got married to Gregory Abbott, and when I got pregnant, my obstetrician, he said that it could affect the fetus. That's what he said.
Right.
So I stopped, and I tried cocaine. I did, but I didn't become addicted to it. But I could feel that it could have been addictive. But I
Right.
realized that cocaine wasn't doing anything to make me healthier. I said
Right.
it's not making me it's not a vitamin. It's not going to make me healthier or smarter. I said it could damage my larynx, my vocal cords. And I just told myself said, no, you don't want to do that no more. And that was it.
Right.
That was back in the 70s. That
Well,
was
see that difference.
mhm. So I don't by the way, you mentioned Whitney as a prime example. It broke my heart to see her do that to herself. It broke I had there's no way I could
Yeah.
figure out why. She obviously had an addictive gene. Uh, sh- some people have an addictive gene in their body where, for some reason, in their brain, they can't. They have to keep using something or keep doing it. I mean, excessively, and that's what she did.
Right.
And I can't. It's
Right.
like to see.
Right.
It's like
It's
some
right.
people are taking. I don't know. I don't know. Somebody building a beautiful mansion, gorgeous mansion, and then going inside the house and setting it on fire.
Right. Well, I remember in your memoir that you talked about, we all have our own quote unquote personal demons that we deal with. It's a manage those demons. And I think a lot of times people have a tendency of being excessive and they don't know how to manage it. They're dealing with certain things that they can't control, but it doesn't help when you are surrounded by a lot of yes people.
Oh yeah, and you
And
know what? Can I tell you? You said
having
that
someone that knows for you.
back in the day, especially when I started. This person is trying to get to me, so I guess I'll have to. I'll say when I leave. Anyway, some people keep calling you, and you're. Anyway, I'm gonna call her back, but we're doing this interview. But what I gotta say is, uh, What was the question now? Again, just repeat it quick. That bothered that.
No, we're talking about just being saying yes people and people
Oh,
just
oh,
giving you and
okay.
telling you anything and everything that you
Oh,
want instead of saying no.
oh. Back in the day, especially when Band of Gold became a hit, I would have people coming back to my dressing room, and they want to just give you something. It was always that temptation of like
Yeah.
people like trying to say, hey, here's some, weed, or here's some whatever, some coke, and just give it to you. And see, you have to deal with that. And back then I didn't want to offend anybody, but now, that should have back, and if I'd had a proper chaperone, that should have
Right.
been an automatic, no, no, I'm not interested, or no, I just don't do that, period. Give
Right.
it to somebody
Right.
else.
Well,
Mhm.
absolutely. Well, first and foremost, I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule and honoring us this morning slash afternoon. And remember, family,
Uh,
be sure to stop by Miss Payne's official website. That's at www.iamfredapayne.com, and also on Facebook, and also on Instagram. Hopefully soon you will bring yourself down here to Texas and perform. I would love to see you perform.
okay. What part of Texas are you in? What part of Texas?
In Houston, Texas.
Oh, Houston. Yeah, I've been to, matter of fact, I have some, I think I have I have a relative that lives in the Houston area. A couple of people. Yeah. Yeah, I like Houston. I haven't been
Okay.
back to Houston in quite some time now. But I would love to go to visit
Well, you
Houston or
need to come
perform
because there are a lot of venues,
there. Uh-huh.
a lot of venues that would love to have you perform. And remember, family, pick up Payne's, of course, her memoir, new single, Do You Still Dream About Me? And also the hit single, of course, with Jeff Goldblum, Lazy Afternoon. That's also out there and available. Please support this great artist. My queen, whatever you need, please do not hesitate. No, we love you, respect you, and honor you, and much continued success.
Oh, thank you so much, Teddy Bear. I can see why then you have that name. That's a nickname, right? Okay. Yes, that's my
Yes,
dog.
ma'am.
Being a nuisance.
What do you have? I bet he's a little one. He's a little one. I bet he's a little one, isn't he?
Yeah, it's a Maltese. He's a little. Come here, Teddy. Come here.
Oh my
Come here.
God.
Come here.
I figured. Okay. Wait.
Yeah, I'm gonna show him. Oh, here's Teddy.
Oh my goodness.
No,
He's a little fur. He's a little.
a
Hey,
little
he's a
fur
little
Teddy.
fur
But he's
ball, just
oh,
like
guess
me, my
what? His
queen.
name is Teddy. His name is Teddy. Teddy. This is my
Oh,
little teddy
you
bear.
stay sweet, and
Okay.
that's your little. Okay. Remain beautiful, my queen. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
All right, my love.
Bye.
The captivating and super talented Miss Freda Payne. Thank you, my queen, for joining us. And remember, be sure to purchase her memoir, of course, by Freda Payne, and then also her new hit single, Do You Still Dream About Me? And also her collaboration where she's being featured on actor musicians Jeff Goldblum's upcoming album with his new hit single, Lazy Afternoon. Lord have mercy. It's definitely been a beautiful experience. I want to thank everyone for tuning in and allowing the teddy bear to help you tune out all the negativity. But we got some more for you. Join us tomorrow. That's at 10 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Eastern, as we welcome the legendary Melissa Manchester tomorrow. 50 years. We're celebrating 50 years of greatness with Melissa Manchester. We'll be on tomorrow. And to get all the latest updates, let your fingers do the walking. You can catch up with us on TikTok at Night Traxx Radio, on Instagram, that's at LOTL the Comfort Zone Radio. And be sure to subscribe to our Facebook page. It's at Facebook at LOTO Radio, The Zone. And last but not least, we are on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's at youtube.com/Night Traxx with 2 X's, Night Traxx Radio Podcast. It's been a beautiful experience, as in ways. So for here on Night Traxx